break it free from the mainstream, the studio machine. I want it my way. Indie Film Nation, you know it's gotta be Indie Film Nation.
Hi, Sue Lawson here for Indie Film Nation. I am absolutely thrilled to be here at NAB 2010, standing next to truly a legend, Michael Goi, a very young legend. I'm going to keep saying that, a very, very young legend. Michael Goi, who is a director, who is a cinematographer, who is not only a super nice guy with a great sense of humor, but he is also president of the ASC, which is just, again, amazing. Michael, you have done so much in your life, which is amazing, but what I'm really interested in right now, in the very quick time that we have before he runs into a session, is the latest movie that you just did, your film, which was a rather low-budget little picture. So I was hoping that you could talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, the name of the movie is Megan is Missing, and it deals with the subject of abducted children and internet predators. It was a subject that I researched over 2 years of time with a forensics investigator, and was produced by my friends Mark and Melanie Gragnani. And I wanted to do a movie about this subject. Normally I'm a cinematographer. I shoot the show The Mentalist, co-shoot the show with Gary McLeod. But when a subject especially appeals to me and I think it's important to get the word out about it, I direct. And this was one of those cases. It was a film that I wrote in 10 days. We shot in 8.5 days because I only had 2 weeks off between shooting a feature film and a television show. So that was the only time I had, with a cast entirely composed of like 13 to 17-year-old girls, and on a budget of like $35,000.
To me, I would ask you what are some of the challenges, but I mean, you had 8 days, you had 10 days to write it, you had 8 days to shoot it, you had like this phenomenally low budget. People think it can't be done, but obviously it can. What are some of the tricks that you employ to be able to pull all of that together?
Well, the thing is that technology has made it possible for people to make movies. There are lower price cameras that are accessible to people, but the bottom line is that you have to know what to do with all of that technology. So it's not the fact that I had digital cameras that enable me to do this, is the fact that I have 30 years of experience as a filmmaker that enable me to do it. I know all the shortcuts. I know when to emphasize something and when not to. I know what piece of equipment I need and what I don't need. So for this, the movie was really tailored to be done in a very stripped down manner. My entire crew was 5 people. Our longest shooting day was 10.5 hours, and we did 32 pages in that day. Now that's because I really drilled my actors, my young actresses, and I told them, you have to be really on top of it because I'm going to do long takes and stuff like that, and I will shoot you until you get it right. So we did sometimes 10, 13 takes, but it was exactly what we needed to get, and we did our homework. All of us did our homework. Keith Eisberg and Josh Harrison were my cinematographers. They normally work as some of my camera operators, and I trusted them. There was no video village. I didn't want to be sitting in front of a TV with headphones on, watching images. I wanted to be there looking at my actors' faces. So I trust my camera people to get what I needed. And it was really assembling the right people for that project that enabled me to get it done in that manner.
Now, what's up next for you?
Next, directing-wise, I'm in development on a project about Jody Husentruitt, who was the Mason City, Iowa newscaster who disappeared a little over 15 years ago. Her case was never solved, and we're launching into this with the complete support of her family and the police chief who's in charge of the investigation, everybody involved. But also, I'm shooting a lot of pilots and television shows and feature films. I have one, Expecting Mary, that's coming out in the theaters soon, so a lot of things in the works.
Is it difficult to make that transition, because you actually are going back and forth between cinematographer and director? Is it difficult to give up the reins on one or not to take over the reins on the other?
When I'm directing, I never really question the cinematographer, what they're doing. I have my discussions artistically about what I'm looking for, and then I let them do their job. I think if you hire the right people, you let them do their job, and the best thing you can do is stay out of their way. When I'm shooting, then that's all I'm involved with. I don't start directing the actors for the director. I don't cross over in that way. So it's very easy, I think, for cinematographers to work with me it's initially, I think, difficult mentally for them because they're like, oh, okay, I'm going to be shooting a movie for the president of the ASC, and he's going to be looking over my shoulder. But after the first day, they realize I'm not going to be doing that.
I have to ask simply because I am an editor by trade, so I want to know, what is your work process with the editor? You've been in this business long enough that you're bringing the editor in early as opposed to people who are just starting off who usually wait till last to really think of the post-production side.
Yeah.
But what is your collaboration process with the editors?
Well, on Megan is Missing, I was the editor.
So you really got inside the mind of the director on that one.
Yeah, but I love editing. I edited 2 feature films early in my career, and I always have edited. I've got my editing suite set up in my office, and I think editing is the way that you learn directing and cinematography, oddly enough, because it teaches you how much coverage you actually need as opposed to how much you think you need. A lot of people just shoot every angle, every size in sight, and then throw it on the editor and say, make something out of this, and that's totally the wrong way. I mean, it needs to be designed better than that. So editing has really taught me, I think, to be a better director and a better cinematographer.
Terrific. I know you've got to run, but I really appreciate the time that you spent. Michael Goi, president of the ASC, as I said, all around really nice guy and tremendously talented. I'm hoping that some of it just kind of like rubs off on me just because I'm standing next to him. Oh, it did. Yay. Watch out, Scorsese. I'm there for you now. Here at NAB 2010, I'm here for Indie Film Nation. Sue Lawson. Thanks.